Welcome to the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report, presented by Yamaha.
Hello and welcome to the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report. I'm Lauren Bolander along with Captain Rick Murphy. Hey Rick.
Hey Lauren, how are you?
Pretty good. And tonight Captain Harry from Captain Harry's Fishing Supply is back at the workbench. Thanks for joining us, Harry.
I'm here and I've got some great stuff to talk about, how to tease that big blue marlin up and then just to get him on your hook, and you don't have to have a big lure to catch a big blue marlin. Something small and simple like this will do the job. So we got some great stuff for later on.
All right, looking forward to it, Harry. You know, every week we talk about the theme species. We have our Facebook contest, Lauren, and just like always, Richard DeLeon, he's sending in the pictures. This guy has been so consistent. I'm very impressed with his photo gallery that he has. He and I are going to be talking about the future, how much he could send in every week. And then also my good buddy Scott Moore, life member for CCA over on the West Coast, was down as a guest, and this was sent in by Captain Scotty Moore, and this is Michael Harshberg sent that one in as well. So good job, guys. Keep up the good work. I appreciate you very, very much. And let's get started tonight.
Yeah,
Lauren.
we sure will. We're going to start the night off in the Panhandle with Captain Pat Deneen. Pat, right now there's some excellent marlin fishing for you, right?
Lauren, it sure is. I mean, we catch blue and white marlin from May through October. Although blue marlins have been caught every month of the year, during the cold winter months, you have to travel much further, longer boat ride to get to them. But just this past week, the bill fishing has been very good. Real Fuelish was fishing the Pensacola billfish tournament. They went 3 for 4 on blue marlins and 1 for 2 on white marlins. When we go offshore looking for billfish, we look for areas holding bait in blue water, such as weed lines, color changes, deep water oil platforms. Pretty much anywhere you find an abundance of tuna and dolphin, you're likely to find some billfish. And lately, there's been a real distinct green to blue water color change south of the spur, running east to west into the canyon. It's had a lot of dolphin and some billfish on it, but this weather that we're having up right now, high winds and seas are likely to shuffle the cards. So whether it holds up through the weather or not, I'm not sure. When we do look for the marlins, though, we troll plastic lures like a black bard or a mold craft, islander ballyhoo combinations, swimming or skipping ballyhoo baits, and then also Spanish mackerel. For live baits, a large blue runner, a blackfin tuna, a bonita are all excellent baits. We like to keep one rigged and hooked up in the tuna tube ready to use as a pitch bait. Off the Panhandle, the white marlins, they run from 40 to 65 pounds. The blue marlins get much, much bigger, 500 to 700 pounders, usually what's going to win a tournament. There's been several 1,000-pound fish caught up here.
All right, Pat, let's stay offshore. What do you got, Buck?
Rick, we got a pretty long boat ride to the Marlin, and that often involves an overnight trip. And this backside of the supermoon we just had, the swordfish has been very good. Captain Mike Tokheim in Destin, he weighed 190-pound fish from Friday. I heard of another fish in Destin weighed that pushed 300 pounds. It's been real good on the north side of the spur in 12 to 1,400 foot of water, on the east side of the canyon, and also west along the steps. We like to use a squid or a Boston mackerel, but a flying fish or a blue runner works real well. 15 feet of 200-pound leader with a circle hook and a weight light combination attached to our wind-ons up above the swivel using a longliner clip. Stagger your baits from 50 to 300 foot of water. And there's a photo there of a fish Jerry Campbell caught, the owner of the Out of Here. We caught that Friday night out west of the steps. We walked out after supper. That fish was swimming around in the lights behind the boat. We spoon-fed it a squid. It was a really, really good fight and good catch.
What a beautiful fish, Pat. Good job. Hey, let's talk inshore now.
Inshore, Rick, the Spanish have moved in a big time along the bays and beaches. It's been particularly good over in Pensacola Bay, along Santa Rosa Island, on the hard sand flats, by casting chug bugs, miradines, or even Mr. Champ spoons. It's also been real good in Panama City Bay on top of the camelback humps using live pilchards. Either place you fish for them, expect some bluefish, ladyfish, and also some blacktip sharks as well. The schooling fish along the beaches are running about 14 inches, but the fish up in the bays on the grass flats are running up to about 5 pounds, so there's some really nice fish showing up there. And then finally, the tarpon are now throughout the whole Panhandle. West of Destin, we're finding them in these really large schools of slowly moving fish going to the west. And over in Panama City and eastward, there's fewer big, large schools, but there's more small groups of fish, 3, 5, 10, maybe up to 20 fish or so. And then over at Cape San Blas, the bar off the Cape has been doing real well, weather permitting. And then finally in Indian and West Pass, Captain Sean Chalker says the tarpons have been real easy to find because if you got the pogies all bunched up in tight schools and just find the pogies, you're going to find the fish. I've been using a VMC 5 to 7 aught circle hook, 60-pound fluorocarbon leader, and a live cigar minnow, herring, or pilchard for bait, the average fish are running 70 to 90 pounds. And there's a photo there. It's not a tarpon, but a big triple tail that a Forrest Light caught. He's 10 years old. He was fishing with Captain Sean Chalker over in Indian Pass tarpon fishing, and he caught that fish 100% on his own, all by himself. So he'll be talking about that for some time, I'm sure.
Hey, thanks for sending in those pictures of the kids. Good job, Sean, taking those young guys fishing. I'm going to go ahead and get to the blue water outrigger hotspots from the Panhandle region. Inshore, speckled trout at night under the dock lights on live pilchards and shrimp or small flies. And then offshore, king mackerel in the morning just outside of Destin Pass and at the Panama City buoy line with live cigar minnows, Lauren.
Okay, Rick, let's head to the northeast now. Captain Russell Theron, the summer is not necessarily the best time for marlin in your region, is that right?
That's right, Lauren. Springtime is one of the best times in our area to target the blue marlin and sometimes the white marlin. Dave Workman out of Strike Zones Fishing, you know, he is a really good person to go to and get information about marlin fishing. Also, there's a great marlin club down in the St. Augustine. Most of your marlin fishermen that do go out and target leave St. Augustine, and they run out to about 600 to 1,200 feet of water. Now, what they're looking for is changes of water, the eddies. They're looking for weed lines and debris. Now, the best way is to troll for the big blue marlin to get them to rise. So you want to get them to come up to the boat. A lot of times they'll hear the boat and they'll come up. But you want to troll it anywhere from 7 to 9 knots. And just like Captain Pat said, the black bart, bonita, or large Spanish mackerel really work well. Typical size blue marlin runs anywhere from 150 to 275 pounds here in our region.
All right, let's stay offshore. Go ahead, Russell.
Staying offshore, Rick, the king mackerel. Now, the king mackerel have been, you know, doing real good so far this season. And we've got some big tournaments coming up this month. Now, this is the time to get out and locate your winning kingfish. Some of the best areas here in the northeast Florida region is Ponte Vedra south to Matanzas Inlet, anywhere from 25 to 40 feet of water. Some of the local favorites are like off from the Red Tops or the Captain's House, just north of St. Augustine. If you need to run offshore, the Elkton Bottom and the hospital grounds have also been producing some good numbers of kingfish. Some of the best baits that you want to slow troll are going to be blue runners, pokies, and also ribbon fish. Typical size kingfish are running anywhere from 15 to 25 pounds.
Let's go inshore, bud.
Inshore, some of the best fishing right now still is our trout fishing. Target the trout inshore. The best bite is coming at daylight. Now, cast topwater plugs or jig off the bottom with a very slow retrieve. Now, the trout are located in 2 to 8 foot of water where the water is clear. Now, the surf fishermen can get into the early morning trout bite also. Some of the best locations to surf fish for the trout are on the points near the inlets where there's an eddy where you got slower moving water. And the keys to these areas is where there's going to be lots of bait. Some of the best lures to use in the surf for sea trout are topwater plugs like the Rapala Skitterwalt. In the trout pattern, typical size trout are running anywhere from 1 to 4 pounds. And don't forget, since we've had a lot of rain and the water is hot, that the nighttime bite on those dock lights are still working real well. Now, staying inshore, we also want to talk about the red fishing. We've had a lot of rain, and like I just said, the water's very hot right now. So you scent to attract redfish like live or dead bait to get the bite. The early morning bite will still work best regardless of the tide. Or if you want to use search lures like topwater plugs, that's my favorite. You know, I'm repeating the Rapala Skitterwalt or the Excalibur Spook Jr. to be able to locate some fish. But some of the best live baits are going to be live shrimp, small fingerling mullet, or maybe a small blue crab. Some of the best dead baits would be like a quarter of a blue crab or maybe a fresh cut ladyfish. Typical size redfish are going to run anywhere from 3 to 7 pounds. And Rick and Lauren, Cap, Harry, and our inshore audience, I want to wish everybody, and especially all of our fans that are listening tonight, a very happy and safe 4th of July.
Same to you, Russell. Good job. Great report. I'm going to go ahead and get to the strike zone hotspots from the northeast region. Captain Russell says inshore, target sea trout under the dock lights. Use live shrimp under a float rig or use a jig tipped with a fingerling mullet. Sounds like night times is a place to do trout fishing. Also offshore, Catch sea bass on just about any structure in 65 to 70 feet of water offshore. Use squid or a cut cigar minnow for bait, Lauren.
Okay, guys, stay with us. On the other side of the break, we're going to head to the Florida Keys. We'll also check in with Harry at the workbench, and you should try your luck at winning a sea of cash with a Florida Lottery Guy Harvey scratch-off ticket, featuring a top prize of $50,000, over $20 million in instant cash and prizes, and a Sportsman Paradise Second Chance promotion, which includes the chance to fish with Guy Harvey himself.
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by the Florida Lottery, Yeti Coolers, wildly stronger, keep ice longer, best parts, best prices, Bennett Auto Supply, Captain Harry's Fishing Supply Company, Chevy, the IGFA, Conservation Through Education, Get Your Hands Wet, and Olukai.
We gave it a fully boxed high-strength steel frame and hydraulic body mounts for a comfortable ride. Because the things you carry are even heavier than the things you haul. Dependable, reliable Chevy Silverado HD.
It's 200 streamlined horsepower of Yamaha forward thinking. The all-new F200 inline four-stroke. Whether you're an offshore angler, pontoon cruiser, bay boater, or walleye hunter, the responsive and fuel-efficient F200 combines amazing power and versatility in one incredibly compact and lightweight package. The all-new F200. Legendary Yamaha reliability and the freedom of forward thinking.
For over 30 years, Guy Harvey has masterfully captured the wonder of marine wildlife in his artwork. Now he's sharing his inspiration with the Florida Lottery by creating 12 exclusive images for the Collector Series Guy Harvey Scratch-Off game, featuring a top prize of $50,000 and a second chance opportunity to fish with Guy Harvey himself. Celebrate the beauty and riches of Florida with Guy Harvey Scratch-Off games today. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
Deep within Key Largo, you'll see things that may surprise you. From the unspoiled wilderness of the Florida Everglades to the tranquility of John Pennekamp State Park. Look below the surface, and you'll find more depth in Key Largo.
Now let's go over our news and notes from the FWC. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission will host a series of public meetings in July to help shape the future of deer management in Hunting Zone A in South Florida. You can catch one July 15th at the International Game Fish Association in Dania Beach, July 16th at the John Boy Auditorium in Clewiston, and July 17th at Edison State College in Fort Myers. You can find more information at myfwc.com. Now it's time to go off the deep end.
You know, we're over here at the Jägermeister workbench. Harry, this is a fish that you know a lot about, the blue marlin. Tell me how I'm gonna go catch him if I know nothing about it.
Well, first thing, you got to head offshore. Get out to that deep water. There's different ways, small boats, big boats, so it's kind of hard to say it all in a short time, but a huge part of it is teasing up a fish. You want to be able to tease a fish to the back of a boat. There's strip teasers. There's all kinds of different styles of teasers. This is like a pen teaser, they call it, which goes down deep. It's going to be behind the boat, you know, from 25 to 50 feet behind the boat. Every boat is different. You want to be able to keep it as close as possible so you can watch your spread. You've got another style teaser that dives also deep with the nylon hairs. This thing's one of the oldie goldies, been around forever. Then you've got some of your newer stuff that's a little more.
Now this is Lauren's color here,
right
man,
here.
pink.
Now this guy here will clack in the water, underwater, you'll hear it.
Oh, it makes a noise.
It makes a noise and everything. And what's great about this particular one, it's a hard style lure. If you use a soft lure, you know, particular like these. Now this is a chugger. This one's going to be down below the water. It's going to be below the surface, comes up and chugs, goes back down and chugs. This particular one is a soft one. This guy here is going to be staying right behind the boat and just blowing smoke, splashing water coming up off the top of this thing here.
So the water goes in here in the head.
Through the jets and on the outside.
And this comes through the skirt, which the skirt breaks all the monotony of the heads and the bubbles and adds to the bubble trail.
Right. So
awesome.
You're creating a big commotion behind the boat. Now you may have one of these on one side of the boat and you may have this on the other side of the boat. You just mix it up. You also have the big flap teaser. Now these things come in 3 feet long to 12 inches. Now, so you can, some of the guys are putting several of these along on one line, and this is all skipping off the top of the water. And what's great about this is when that sun's real bright out and you're going along, say you're underneath the water, you're looking up, you're going to see that black shadow going across the water.
All right,
it gets
so
that marlin excited.
He comes in our spread. Now what are we going to do? What are we going to feed him?
Freak out.
Yeah.
Well, on a small boat and stuff, what my favorite go-to bait is your Islander lure with a ballyhoo.
Islander with a ballyhoo. A real ballyhoo.
With a real ballyhoo. We just put the plastic on here because I figured you'd probably eat it.
Yeah, you're right.
Gulp on there, you know.
You're hungry.
From last week.
Growing boy.
Yeah, but this is something that's simple that just stays right on top of the water, smokes really, really well, and does a great job. A lot of people caught a lot of marlin on this particular bait. Now you want to start trolling an area. You want to cover ground. When you have ballyhoos, you're not able to run around like you can with say a spread of lures out there. All different style lures out there now today. We got a bunch of lures that we get in from Hawaii, all over the place that blow a lot of smoke, concave. The mirror, we put single hooks off the back. Some are double hook. And some of these lures are gotten crazy.
Look at the head of this lure. This is absolutely nuts. That's a real fish head.
Actual real fish inside that lure.
In the epoxy.
In the epoxy.
Now, I got a real technical question for you.
Okay, make it easy though.
All right, is there any specific color, like Wahoo like purple and black and blah, blah, blah. Is there any specific color that you should start with that's more fish have been caught on when it comes to marlin?
Color's personal preference. One guy loves the pink, one guy likes the black and purple. I like to throw out a spread. If it's a real shiny day, bright day, I'm gonna have a good spread of dark lures. I may put one light color lure out, but it's just like the shadow thing. I wanna be able to cover that up really well.
All right, so wind-on lures.
Wind-on leaders are huge. This eliminates the gaff guy when coming up to the boat. You'll have this will hook to your double line. All this will come real small, and you're going to leader the fish. Literally, crank that fish right into the reel, because there's no knots, no snap swivels or anything here. The snap swivel is going to be at the end of your leader here, with a small snap swivel. And your leader off your lure is going to be approximately 8 feet, which is going to be in gaffing range or billing range from where you're at. So you're able to get that fish right up to the boat, and it's so much easier than changing that momentum of that fish coming in, and all of a sudden you get a leader guy on there and he starts going crazy. Sometimes that fish goes nuts because he feels that different pressure and goes off and jumping and running away from the boat again. So it's technique, and it's all just learning how to put your baits out where they're working and chugging off the back of the boat.
Hours of boredom surrounded by 15 to 20 seconds of total chaos.
Awesome deal, too.
That's the way they describe marlin fishing.
Yeah, it's great.
Hey, very well done. I learned a lot, and I'm looking forward to coming back over here and talking about new products. Speaking of new products, we got a new product waiting to take us to another region. So go ahead, tell me what we're going to, Lauren.
I want to ask you guys, which one of those fancy lures do you hang from the rear view of your Chevy truck?
Obviously, the pink one is for you.
I know. Wow. Harry told me he let me go home with the pink one for my Tahoe. All right, guys. The Florida Keys is our La Jolla region, and Captain Randy Tao is there to tell us more about marlin fishing. Hey, Randy.
Hey, guys. Good evening. You know, we're not really known for marlin fishing here as a destination place to go catch one, but this time of year, as I've been talking for the last couple of months, guys that are offshore dolphin fishing are looking for dolphin. They have their lures out. They have their ballyhoo. They're catching blue marlin. Quite a few. Last weekend, there were 6 marlin caught between white marlin and blue marlin alone. So it seems like every week I'm hearing somebody catching a blue marlin. Now, some guys are going to target them by trolling lures, and they're going to, cover area where they've been seeing these marlin mixed in with the schoolie dolphin. We got a lot of schoolies right now and a lot of skipjack tunas offshore. So the marlin are around, and guys, if you're going to target them, probably a good time, especially around the moon, the full moon, you're going to get a good crack at one. And the white marlin have been in the rips as well. So it's been kind of active. I was talking to Captain Rick Kilgore, and he runs a 23 Seacraft down here. Not a big boat, small boat, but he was out there. He saw the bait situation. He put out a couple of lures, and he started trolling around. And within an hour or so, they hooked up to a 400-pound blue marlin. And his angler, Eddie Perez, fishing with his son, Vinny, from Louisville, Indiana, wound in after about 4 hours a 400-pound blue marlin. So if you can recognize the conditions, and the conditions were the other fish around, they put the lures out, they targeted a blue marlin, and they caught one. So we do have some around. A lot of them are caught by accident trolling for dolphin, but you can catch one at times if you put the right bait out.
All right, Randy, let's stay offshore, bud.
Yellowtail on the reef. Our snapper bite along the reef from Islamorada to Marathon has been really, really good. A great current, a great bite. They're spawning this time of year. You can go to the reef at night. July is a great time to go out there and fish for the mangrove snappers. And during the day, there's been some nice big yellowtails, 40 to 60 feet. And you don't have to chum real heavy. It's when they're spawning like this, you don't have to be real aggressive, because these fish are really cooperating with a little bit of chum and a little bit of oats. You're going to get them going, and you want to use something like a 16th-ounce hookup with a piece of fresh-cut bait on it. Drift it back like your chum is going out behind the boat, and you'll catch these yellowtails. There have been plenty of them, and it doesn't take long, but you want to make sure you got the condition. I'll talk about conditions a lot, and that is when you have the wind and the current going the same way. With no current, that's not the right condition to fish for yellowtails. But we've had a good condition, and the yellowtail bite's been on very good.
All right, let's go inshore, bub.
Red fishing, here we're kind of changing gears right now. Tarpon season's slowing down around Islamorada. A lot of the guys are drifting back, looking for something else. And the red fishing around the Flamingo area and halfway back from Islamorada has been pretty good. From the guys I've been talking to, they've been getting up on top of the flats. A lot of these guys have technical skiffs that go shallow, and they can get up in some of these areas and find some cruising and tailing red fishing, and it's been very good. Now, that side of it's still good, and if you've got a bigger boat and you're looking to do some of the shoreline fishing, or you're going to fish some of the deep troughs and the runoffs around some of the islands, that's good as well right now. A live pinfish on a 3/8-ounce hookup has been working great, and it sounds like there's some snook mixed in too. So if you're red fishing, you might catch a snook, so make sure you got a leader on there.
All right, what else you got, Randy?
The mangrove snappers, like I said, they're spawning on the reef right now. Night bite is good, the daytime bite is good, and also the backcountry, just like offshore, we got them in the backcountry. Florida Bay has plenty of mangroves right now, and a lot of these areas you can find yourself. When you're driving around in the backcountry going from place to place and you see a channel or you see a drop-off or a ledge or a white hole, a lot of times you can stop, anchor up in these holes, and the mangrove snappers this time of year are usually pretty cooperative. You don't want to chum for them too much because you'll get a lot of the little ones. But if you fish some small live pinfish on a 1/4-ounce hookup, you're going to catch some of these bigger mangroves. And right now, the backcountry is pretty plentiful along the channel edges and along some of these white holes and these ledges where you can catch a nice catch of mangrove snappers.
All right, thanks, Randy. Great report from the La Jolla, Florida Keys region. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the hot spots from the Florida Keys. Captain Randy says inshore mangrove snapper fish the channels where you have good current and use small live pinfish on a 1/4-ounce hookup. Also, any white hole in 4 to 6 feet of water, you can find those mangrove snappers as well. And then offshore yellowtails, anchor in 40 to 60 feet of water. Find the current, chum heavy, use oats till you see them behind the boat. Be patient and only 2 rods at a time.
Okay, Rick, now it's time to check in and see what tournaments are going on in the Keys. First up, it's the IFC Junior Dolphin Tournament in Islamorada. This Sunday, July 7th, anglers from 18 and under can compete for trophies for the highest combined weight of 3 dolphin. The Islamorada Dolphin Tournament is July 12th to the 14th. The event, hosted by the Islamorada Charter Boat Association, has some $15,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs. July 14th through the 17th in Key West are the days for the Del Brown Permit Tournament. And last up, at the Robert James Slam Celebrity Tournament set for September 7th to the 9th, anglers target tarpon, permit, and bonefish to achieve the coveted Flats Grand Slam. The first of 3 events in the annual Redbone Series in the Keys raises funds for the fight against cystic fibrosis. Now let's hear from Andy Newman in the Keys to learn about our featured tournament. Hey, Andy.
Hey, given the theme species this week, we're going to go ahead and again talk about the Drambuie Key West Marlin Tournament, but we want to focus on how it's the fishing centerpiece of Key West Annual Hemingway Days Festival. Now, guys, as we show you some video from last year's celebration, this year's Hemingway Days begins July 16th and continues through the 21st. Among events, there is Key West version of the Running of the Bulls, the ever-popular Papa Hemingway look-alike contest at Sloppy Joe's Bar, a short story competition, and an arm wrestling contest. By the way, we're taking a look at those Hemingway lookalikes right now. Of course, it all honors the Nobel Prize-winning author who lived, wrote, and played very hard in Key West throughout most of the 1930s. Now, for more details on Hemingway Days and other events and tournaments in the Keys, go to flakeys.com. Now, Rick, I told you last year, I'm going to tell you again, you need to grow that beard. You need to enter the Hemingway look-alike contest in Key West.
I know. The only problem is every time I go to Key West, I really play hard, so I don't know. I have to put on a little weight, too.
I think Andy's right. Just grow it out a little, fill it in. Okay, guys. When we return, we're going to check in with Captain Jimbo in the Southeast and Captain Ron Houston in the Southwest. And remember to check out our website, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter at Chevy FIFR TV. There's plenty more to come on the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report.